Should I start a podcast? We're going live today, and what I'm going to talk about is should you start a podcast, why you should start a podcast, what the benefits are, what the hindrances are. I'm going to take this off. What the negatives are, and is it worth it, and should you do it? So let's get into it. Stick till the end, and I will share with you a special surprise. So I'm excited to see you guys there. So, should you start? Let me switch it closer. Should you start a podcast? Should you start a podcast? Should you start a podcast? Should I start a podcast? I think you should 100% start a podcast. So, what are the pros of starting a podcast? One, pro of starting a podcast is that you're going to systematically create content. And if you're in business, that creating content is huge. It's a huge barrier of entry. Like if you're in business, you need to be putting out content. But I know what you're thinking. You're like, dude, how am I supposed to be, running all my operations, keeping up with payroll, like taking care of all fulfillment, and then still putting out content? Like, how am I supposed to do that, bro? Like, I'm not a superhuman. I'm not a superhero. And starting a podcast is like such a super dope, really easy, effective way to grow your business and check off the content stuff. And I know you're thinking, you're like, how? Like, what do you mean? Keep talking to me. Don't worry. I'm going to let you know. So this is how I utilize our podcast. And this is one method. It's not the only method, but I think there's a huge benefit in it. And this is how it ties into business. So I invite future prospects onto our client, or anyone who I would be our ideal customer. So I invite them on the podcast because in the universe, right? Or I mean, just at the level of business that I'm at, is when anyone asks me for anything, like they're already like taking something from me, and I'm like, dude, I have like so much on my plate. I don't want, I not that I don't do favors and stuff, but it's like, it's a little harder, to leverage my time out. And I was telling my wife, this is like, I love my wife and I love my daughter, and I'd rather be spending time with them. And so if it's taking away from that and it's not like in line with my purpose, like it's going to take a lot to move me in that direction, right? I have to either be inspired by you, believe in you, or it's going to cost like thousands of dollars for my time just to do something that I don't want to do or that I'm not super stoked on doing, right? So having a podcast, you're able to add value to the person coming on. You're able to give them one of the most valuable currencies in today's day and age, and that's content. So if you're have a podcast, you invite them to come on your podcast. I mean, I highly recommend video podcasts, but even if it's an audio podcast, right? If you're just getting started, you're giving them so much value right out the gate. You're like, hey, do I need, maybe you want to work with them, right? This is how I leverage. I target prospective clients, like people that we could service, people that we can add value and grow our business with. So I ask them if they want to be on our podcast. Most of the time, people say yes. They're like, yeah, dude, I'd love to be on your podcast. And so they come on more, open and receptive to being on the podcast. And when they come on, they get, we get to build a really dope relationship. We build like conversation. Meanwhile, I'm getting to know them. I'm understanding them, their business, their situation, and seeing where I can add value, if at all, right? And so as I get to know them and as I'm, building that relationship with them, they get to already automatically see our business. Like they see how efficient and how streamlined we are. Like they come in, boom, they get the content, boom, they get their social media edits within a couple days. Like, and they're just like, dude, these guys are legit. Like that they are content. Dude, we have content systems. Like content cranking is our like top. That's what our whole business model is. That's what we do at Pathfinder Productions. And so when they see like, dude, they got the system down, like, right? Like I see everything that Oscar's doing. I see everything Pathfinder's doing. And then on top of that, they just like got me content. Like, heck yeah, like it builds a huge relationship. So that's one of the ways to leverage a podcast. One is to, target prospective clients or prospective prospects. Two is you get to build your own content on top of that and build out your long form YouTube, right? Recently I've been taking YouTube extremely serious, so hence the lives all the time. And today I have my switcher working, so I actually have all the equipment lined up. It seems like, I don't know, I'm getting better at it every day, right? So you get to build your own content, and building your own content is huge. And so when you have like a goal and you have people like that are holding you accountable, even prospective clients or people coming on your podcast, it's huge. It helps do that at a really high scale, build your personal brand. And then not only that, you build your long form YouTube, you could take it and cut it down into shorts, and then boom, you're building your short form Instagram or TikTok or whatever other social platforms you want to build. So building a podcast is extremely valuable. If you're on the fence, this is a sign to just do it. Just build your podcast, start to do it. Now let's talk about the cons. What is a con to the podcast? So the con is that it's pretty expensive. If you want to get all of this gear, like, it's pretty expensive. Like these SM7Bs, they're like $400 or $500 a pop. I have 4 of them. If you want to to have multiple guests, you're probably gonna need multiple so there, boom, that's like $1,200 just in mics. These mic stands are like $50 a pop. The XLR cables are another freaking however much, $50. The Rodecaster, this thing's like $1,000, or I think it's like $700 or $800. This switcher, another freaking $500. Then we're not even in the cameras yet. Then you have, I have a Sony ZV-E1. I love this camera. The sensor is amazing, dude. It's awesome. I have not had any trouble with it at all. That's like still like $2,000, $1,800 camera plus another like $800 lens on it. I have the FX3 over here. Shout out to the FX3. That is like, I think I got it for like $4,000 at the time when it was new. So $4,000 plus another like, I think $1,200 lens on that. So it's expensive. So the con is that it's expensive. Then we're not even talking about the background. Look at this cool set we have going on here. All light. I got a light back there, light up here, light over there. So then lighting, thankfully I already had this lighting from Pathfinder. So actually no, I bought 2 new key lights. So just in lighting, I think is another whatever. Maybe like $1,000. So it's expensive. Con is expensive. You got to decorate, rug, all this stuff, fake tree. I would love to have real trees, but just in dark lighting, they're not going to do so well. So it's expensive. Con, you're not building the point, right? It's not. You're not helping us out here, Oscar. You're saying it's expensive, and you. I don't even know if the mic's working. Hopefully it is, because I don't know if I tested it. Like, I don't know if it's working. Hopefully it is. And hopefully it's coming from. Yeah, that looks like it. Yeah, because if I mid live, all right, guys. I've been saying I'm getting better at lives, and so I have not committed to doing a live every day, but I have committed to doing a live every time I'm at the studio. So. Hey, we're getting there, right? So cons. It's very expensive. Here is a pro. There's more cons. You're like, dude, you're not selling the case on starting a podcast. Then you have to produce it, right? So if you're all on by yourself, you're like, dude, got all this gear. Then you have to edit it, and then you have to upload it. And then you have all this other stuff. So a lot of late, it's like laborious and expensive. So you got to bankroll it. So here is the solution to it, right? Ready for it? Drum roll. I had a preset drum roll, the drums in this, but I took them out because I thought they could be cheap. Anyways, here's the solution. If you're in Las Vegas, or if you're ever traveling to Las Vegas for a convention, event, anything, The Pod Place is located right across the street from the airport on Paradise. Totally gentrified building. It's super nice. Cool amenities here. But our intro offer is for $100. You could get a full-length YouTube recording, right? Like the full-length video, edited, so you don't even have to edit it. You get the YouTube edit right away. And then you get a YouTube thumbnail and 3 social media shorts for only $100. That's the solution. You're like, dude, $100, I could do that. But here's what I've been getting a lot lately, right? It's like after the $100 special, like what's next? Well, I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. But I guess it's like if you give people, I don't know, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, like in the comments. You give people the whole kitchen, then you take it away. Does that like make them feel upset about it? You're like, dude, I got all this for $100 the first time. Now it's more expensive. So after the $100 special, you could book directly for through Peerspace. It's $180 an hour. So $180 an hour. That's just a plain Jane, right? You get your YouTube edit, and that's it. $180 an hour. You're good. Get your YouTube. Again, that's not terrible. But you're like, oh, what about all the social media edits, the YouTube thumbnails? Like, you could always add on 1 or 2 or however much you want to add on, right? Like, you could always add on a YouTube thumbnail. You could always add on social media edits. You could always add that stuff on. But 180, just after the special, 180, get your situation locked down and get it cranking. So it's not terrible, but I think the highest value, like the most value that you can get, is to onboard for like a 4-session package, right? And with the 4-session package, you get everything you got in the $100 special. You get all the stuff, the social media edits, you get the YouTube thumbnails, you get, I throw in 2 hours for each, for those sessions, just in case, you know what I mean? You go over a little longer, whatever, I block out 2 hours for you. So you get 2 hours. So you get a total of 8 hours of filming time, 12 social media edits, and 4 YouTube thumbnails and 4 YouTube long forms. So for only $1,300, like that, I think to me is the best value, because if you a la carte it, like if you're like I want all that stuff and you just want to do it for by itself, you're looking at like $1,500. So I would highly recommend taking advantage of the intro offer. I'm gonna leave the link below so you could take advantage of it. And then beyond that, like, so the cost, right? Like now let's justify the cost. Like not even justifying it. Like actually, if you are using it in the manner in which I told you, right? Like you're using it to leverage your YouTube and grow your personal brand. So that's like checks the box off, right? Like in the content creation space and showing up as a business owner, like you literally have to show up at a high level and like take your business to the next level. You have to show up with content. Like it's just almost a non-negotiable. But anyway, so you check that off, right? So why pay $1,300? You check off the showing up on social media. You check off building all your social media platforms and your personal brand. And then, like I said, if you're utilizing it in the manner in which I use it to invite prospects on, you could close a deal. Like if you have 4 sessions, right? And out of those 4 sessions, you close 1 deal and it's a high ticket deal, that's going to pay for 6 months. I mean, I don't know what you guys sell your products at, but like if you sell any one deal, $1,500, that covers your month. And if you do that every single month, it's almost forcing you to keep growing. So highly recommend that. That's a really good way in which you could utilize the podcast. And then on top of that, you get access to our community. Our community, everyone that records here at the Pod Place, super high level, either at business, like, multi 7 figures. I don't think I might be the smallest fry that uses this space. Business titans, influencers with millions and millions of views. Like, so you're going to cross paths. You're going to be connected through that community of us, of the Pod Place. So highly recommend, even if you're not, in a place in your business that you want to take action with us, I'd highly recommend following the Pod Place. Follow me on social media. I'll follow you back, Oscar Dona, Oscar, and then my last name is Cardona, and it's just both of them smushed together. I don't know. I just discovered that in like third grade. Like, whoa, my first and last name go together. Ospadona. And it works. Ever since then, it's been my personal brand. I didn't know it would be my personal brand, but anyways, guys, I hope that you got some value. I'm putting in inputs and reps with the YouTube and the lives, so I'm hoping that you guys gain some value from this and subscribe to the channel. This is my personal channel. I'm actually about to, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to make my intro video because I think currently it's like a music video from 6 or 7 years ago. So I need to make the intro video for what this channel is all about. So until next time, guys, peace.